excited to watch some football, or it's a beautiful night.
Yeah.
Something.
Sun setting, perfect temperature for a game. It's a huge conference game, stuff
Yeah.
like that. Just kind of go off of that.
And I'll be like, so Daniel, this Fairfield team, they've been having a strong season, but last week, kind of a bit of a hiccup, close loss to undefeated Lakota West.
I don't know if it's a hiccup. Were they supposed to be that close?
They weren't supposed to, no. All right. Welcome to Dwyer Field here for some Friday Night Lights. It's a beautiful day for some football, week 9. It's senior night for the Mason Comets as they take on their GMC rival, the Fairfield Indians. Now both these teams currently 16-2 on the season. The Comets are slightly ahead in the conference standings due to their 6-1 conference record. Comets looking to close out their home schedule and maintain their spot in the top 3 of the GMC. Fairfield are coming off a close loss to undefeated Lakota West. Should be a terrific in-conference matchup. I'm Andrew Little alongside my broadcast partner for the night, Daniel Panetti. Daniel, how you doing?
Doing good, sun setting, and it's perfect temperature for a game. This is one of the biggest games, the biggest game for Mason so far this season. Winner of this game is going to get a huge jump in playoff setting, and yeah, just very excited.
Yeah, pink out night for the keys to the game here. You just touched on it. It's a huge conference matchup. Both these teams have lost to Lakota West, so they're out when it comes to winning the conference title. But a lot of playoff implications tonight. Both teams fighting for a home playoff spot. The winner of the game tonight likely going to be in position for that. And Fairfield, they're led by their star quarterback, the junior Talon Fisher. He's a true dual threat. He's got over 1,000 rushing yards and passing yards on the season. And that means that Mason's run defense really needs to step up. Daniel, how about you tell us about some of those D linemen for the Comets?
Yeah, it's going to be a big game. You have to get pressure. You can't let him run the ball. That's really what they are. You think about a dual threat quarterback, you think of Fisher. You know, he leads the GMC in rushing yards with about 1,140, and he's still a respectable passer as well. So all parts of the game you're going to have to be ready for. This defense, he had such a great game against Sycamore last week, but against a team like Fairfield, who's top 3 in the GMC, getting over 400 yards per game, it's going to be a huge challenge.
Yeah, and it's not just Talon Fisher for the Indian offense. Their running back, Jordan Jackson, one of the 2 Jackson twins, both committed to play football at the collegiate level for West Virginia University. Jordan Jackson, top 5 in the GMC in rushing yards as well. He's got a lot of speed. Broke a big touchdown against the Comets last year in the playoffs, and that's another thing we haven't talked about yet. This is a rematch of how this Comets season ended last year. They lost in the first round of the playoffs. It was the 8-9 matchup. So there's a revenge game for the Comets. That should only add to the spice of this game, already really high stakes.
Yeah, you bring up Jordan Jackson. It's not like Fisher's the only guy who's going to run all over a defense. Jordan Jackson, true definition of a running back 1 for a team. You can't stop Fisher. You focus on Fisher. That's going to open up a read option. You either hand it off to him or Fisher's just going to take it 40 yards for a score. And we saw that last week against Lakota West. Rarely do you have a team that's taking Lakota West into double overtime. And, you know, Fairfield was knocking on the door of tying the game back 38-31. He had that huge touchdown in the final minutes for Fisher. It's about a 35-yard rushing touchdown. And, you know, you just can't mention it enough. You stop the run for Mason, you should be fine.
Yeah, both these 2 teams, you know, had some of the more interesting matchup against Lakota West when it comes to GMC opponents. Fairfield had that overtime thriller. The Comets played Lakota West really tight in the first half. Things kind of got out of hand in the second half. So 2 teams that have proven that they're very strong this year. Great showing here for senior night as the Comets get one more chance at home to play in front of their home crowd. Now, if they do win this game or next week and they get a top 8 spot in the playoffs, they'll have another home playoff game, and so that's another thing that's on the line. And we're gonna head to a quick break, but we'll be back just before the kickoff.
could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Spinning.
And Daniel, they've been one of the best in the conference this year, putting up 35 points a game, almost 400 yards a game.
Yeah, you can't touch more up on it. You have to. It's all we really talked about. Stop the run. You have 2 out of the 3 top rushers in the GMC with Fisher and Jackson. So, yeah, Mason last week they were able to generate pressure on Sycamore pretty well. So if you can keep that going, see what Mason can do.
Yeah, the defense is the strength, common strength. We'll see how that matchup tonight. As Fisher takes the snap, fakes the jet sweep handoff, and he's going to throw it. And a drop right there from Justers Fataki, the running back.
You immediately see the rollout. Super agile quarterback. You're gonna see a lot of that today. Read option, play action. It's really what Fairfield is most known for.
Yep. Now Fisher back to the line. Jordan Jackson, the star running back, in the backfield with them. Kind of line up in a bunch formation. And Fisher hands it off to the man in motion. That's Braden Shanklin, and he is stuffed. Nick Saylors, Caden Davis. Plenty of Comets there in the backfield for that stop.
Great job to contain on the outside, really know where to go that whole entire sweep. Mason defense just completely ready for it. And that's what you have to see from this defense all day.
Yeah, first play, they faked the jet sweep right there. They handed off to Shanklin. The Comets were totally ready for it. Blew up that play, and now you've got 3rd and long coming up.
You got to force them to throw. That's how Mason's going to do it. If you give them opportunities to run, they're going to run all over you.
Yep. Fisher and Jackson in the backfield. Fisher holds on to it with that read option. He's pushing forward. Gets back to the original line of scrimmage, but not much further, and it's going to be 4th down. So a great first drive stop for the Comets there, the 3 and out. Obviously highlighted by that 2nd down play.
Good job to get a stop there, bring the offense out. Just overall what you want to see from Mason this entire game. You see Fisher still getting those extra pushes, so you get them in a 3rd and long situation like that.
And Talon Fisher, the quarterback and the punter, doesn't get a lot on that ball. Comets going to get the start with great field possession inside of their 40-yard line. So making things easier on the offense. That's honestly, in the 2 Comet losses, that's been a big factor, is they've lost the field positioning advantage. Gahanna Lincoln often started with the ball inside their own, the other side 50-yard line. And yeah, Comet sideline getting hyped. That was a perfect first series. They couldn't have drawn it up any better. Great showing here for the last regular season home game, excuse me.
And looking at this offense, the guy to know about is Nick Saylors. All 5 touchdowns last week, and Larson Brown, his 3rd game back from injury, looked so much better last week than he did against West. Hoping to keep that going.
Yep, and Brown in shotgun. He's going to sweep it to Weston Simmons. He's got some blocks. And he's flattened, and the ball's on the ground.
Ball's out. Fairfield says that they have it, and they do.
Wow. And right there, just a normal sweep play turns into disaster for the Comets. Great field position, probably could have led to a score there, and stopped on the first play. Fairfield defense comes up big, making a statement right there.
And even though it is still super early, that could be a very big deciding factor against Fairfield. You had your opportunity there with the bad punt. You have to take advantage of situations like those. So we'll see Fisher come back out.
Yep. Fisher and Jackson in the backfield again. 3 receivers out left. Fisher takes it. Play action, and he's going to find his receiver. Isaiah Glover, who's going to run for a new set of downs, or very close to it.
Pass was complete to Isaiah Glover.
And he's going to be stopped. He's going to be called out of bounds just short of the first down marker, so 2nd and 1.
Coming out early, we've seen a little more passing than expected. Not a very heavy passing team, but Fisher, if you need to throw the ball, he's going to get it done. So,
yeah, play action very effective for Fairfield, and they're trying to get that going early. Now 2nd and 1, you've got some options. Hand it off. Nope, it's the read option. They've run that a couple plays. Talon Fisher has a lot of room. He's got speed running down the field, and he is gone. Comets can't catch him.
There's the running.
56-yard touchdown for Talon Fisher.
That breakaway speed is just, it's so hard to match that. You saw Nick Sailors get good pressure on the other side to Jackson. Would have looked like a loss at first, but being able to get that read option like that, have a quarterback like that, of course, leads to GMC in rushing yards. Just extended that by a good bit on that play.
Yeah, so the first drive for the Indians was kind of a disaster, and right there, exactly what they wanted. They returned that read option into 6 points. Fairfield starting on top, and now a flag called. False start on that extra point attempt.
Fisher, who leads the GMC in scoring, that's his 13th rushing touchdown of the season. No other rusher is within 4 of that.
Yeah, Talon Fisher, man. He's a true talent. There's a reason that a lot of Division I schools, Miami of Ohio, Buffalo, Massachusetts, they've already offered him. He's getting looks from some other schools too. He's a star in Southwest Ohio football. And the extra point is up. And it's good from the kicker, Aiden McGuire. So Fairfield now takes the 7-0 lead.
Fairfield 7, Mason
Yeah, the Comets in the first drive 3, now they get the ball inside Fairfield's 40-yard line. They feel really confident, and all of a sudden a fumble on the first play totally shifts the momentum. Daniel, how is this Comet offense going to kind of return to form on this next drive?
Well, you don't need to do all those jet sweeps and all that. You saw Nick Sailors last week fully take control, and Sailors isn't the only guy. It's Hay Hibbett, who had not his greatest game last week, but he's still a guy who can easily take over a game. You have a sophomore at running back at varsity, you know it's something special, especially these next few years. He's going to be a top rusher for Mason football. Just kind of have to see whose day it's going to be today, and if it's not one guy's day, the other guy's going to come out and he's going to do exactly what you need.
Yeah. Now McGuire, who just hit that extra point, back for the kickoff. J.C. Deaton and Charlie Raymond back to return the kick. Comets started last drive with great field position, so this return going to be crucial. As Fairfield has some confusion, looked like they're about to make a substitution, and yep, some last-minute changes to personnel.
A little bit of special teams problem already. We saw on the extra point a little bit of confusion now here on the kickoff.
Yep. Mason sideline trying to keep the energy up after that 58-yard touchdown. It's a squib kick picked up by Weston Simmons, and he's going to get it just over past the 40-yard line. So good field position for the Comets. The punt was not great, and right there, the kickoff also doesn't get a lot of a distance. So Comets, you know, a little bit easier now. And you were starting to talk about Larson Brown. Now his third game back from a shoulder injury. He didn't even get a chance to show anything. Only a one-play drive right there. And you know, last week kind of got into his groove, but Sycamore's defense not the strongest, so the Comets were kind of able to exploit that with Nick Sailors. Today is the day where we want to see Larson Brown, you know, get back to full strength and show off all the talent he has.
Really, regardless of the defense, seeing that big of a jump from West to Sycamore last week, huge sign.
Yep, and Simmons again, 5 yards, pushes away for another one, so nice run there on 2nd and 10. Gonna set up a more manageable 3rd down. You've got some options here at midfield.
Nick Sailors, you give him the ball, he's gonna end up pushing for those extra 2, 3, 4, 5 yards. You see they're able to, good job by Fairfield to crash in, but Sailor's still able to push forward for those extra yards, makes it pretty calm 3rd down here. See what Mason can do.
Brown takes the snap in the shotgun again, goes to Sailors. He's wrapped up just past the line of scrimmage, so going to set up a 4th down. Now in Fairfield territory, you can consider going for it here. Only 4th and 2. Comet huddle going to talk it over as Larson Brown looks to the sideline awaiting decision. And it looks like they're going to stay out there.
It's definitely a call that can go both ways. You don't want to give Fairfield this field position, but a drive like that, you just let Fairfield take all the momentum, especially off of that one-play drive. You get a 1st down here. Could be a huge
and we'll
shift
see
for Mason.
If they're just trying to force Fairfield offsides, they actually plan to take the snap, and they do. And Larson Brown, play action. And he looks for his brother, Quinn Brown. Brown has some space. Good block from Ryder, and he trucks a guy out inside the 20. Comets in the red zone. Ballsy play call there.
Saw a play like that last week against Sycamore as well. I think it was looking at it, Colin Billhorn as well. We saw Brown able to evade the pocket, had rushers going straight at him, didn't have much time, and was able to put a throw right on the money there. Keeps the drive alive, and not only that, gets you a great amount of yards. Yeah, and these are the plays that the Comets have been looking for Larson Brown to make. Rolling out, facing pressure, doesn't matter. Steps into a gutsy throw, and right there, that's a big play. And now Hibbett in the backfield. He's going to take the handoff following his blockers, and he pushes forward, so powerful. Going to be close to a 1st down. 2nd and short coming up. That's only Hibbett's first carry of the game, but something you didn't see much last game. Him being able to push forward versus Sycamore. He's getting stopped at the line, not being able to do much. Picked it up a little bit towards the end of the game, which is a very good sign going into tonight. And with the few carries we've seen, both running backs could have a pretty big day. Still is very early. Yeah, the strength of this Fairfield defensive line is more with their outside linebackers and defensive ends, so that's something to watch running inside. Brown going to take the snap again, hands it off to Hibbett, and he breaks outside, and he's brought down by Kari Bibbins and Ray Coney, 2 of the top tacklers for Fairfield. Yeah, those are 2 names you want to watch out for Mason. 2 guys leading the team in tackles basically every stat, so if there's people that you don't want to run the ball towards, it's those guys. Yeah, and Hibbett tried to break that one outside, but Kari Bibbins was able to shed his block, and then that allowed Coney to get there in time. And now Brown again in the shotgun. Sailors in the backfield, and Brown, quick pass to Weston Simmons right at the line of scrimmage, and he's going to be short of the sticks. Seen a lot of Weston Simmons on offense so far. Not really known for his receiving, but more of his play on defense in the secondary. But aside from that fumble on the first play, he's been able to get yards, get the catches that, you know, make most of the opportunities, of course, except for that first play. But you look at this Fairfield defense, you have 4 players tied for fifth in tackles, just all over the football field. And officials measure again. They do give the Comets the 1st down, so 1st and goal from the 10-yard line. And Larson Brown going to run it himself. Not really known as a dual threat guy, but
He's athletic enough to make some plays. He slides there. Gets about 5 yards.
Good play to just slide there, not risk anything. You know, you get the good yards in very good range right here.
And if you saw the cast on that left wrist right there, Larson Brown, he's had multiple injuries this season. You know, earlier in the year, had a wrist injury, and then what sidelined him the past couple weeks was a shoulder injury. So another thing that he's got to keep in mind when he's running the ball. Doesn't want to aggravate either of those. Now under center for the first time tonight. Sweeps it to Sailors. Sailors bounces outside. He's going to push through for just about a yard. Brought down by Kieran Love. Sets up 3rd and goal from about the 4-yard line.
Almost no matter what happens, you're in fourth down range. Especially the way we've seen Fairfield's offense bounce back. The quick play, 58-yard rush, you have to get 6 here. So whether it's on this play, 4th down, settling for a field goal is, you know, you get points, but you got to get 6.
Yep. And some trickery there. They directly snap it to Sailors, and he muffs that snap, so a trick play there ends up not being successful. Sailors frustrated after that, and now you get pushed back a little bit. The field goal unit going to come out. Colson Bunch going to have a chance to put some points on the board.
Well, that kind of takes away the 4th down going for it right there. A little trickery. If it works, it's a great play call, but you see something like that, it's just huge drive killer. But you're able to just get points here. It's still good for Mason.
And Simmons snaps it, and Colson Bunch kicks that one right through the uprights. The senior makes a field goal on senior night, so Comets get on the board now, only down 7-3, just under 4 minutes to go in this first quarter. So a very promising drive there from Mason, and that crucial 4th down play. Larson Brown found his brother Quinn Brown, got them into the red zone.
And just being able to put in a good drive like that, go down 40 yards, you know, those 50-yard plays are fun to watch, but being able to quickly and getting a drive like that is great, but being able to do that early in the game is a great sign for Mason, being able to get their offense going. You saw the run game working. Of course, that big pass to Brown on 4th down. So overall, good signs for Mason. Need to see if this defense can bounce back from huge run last drive.
Yeah, and it's those chunk plays they're going to need to watch out for. Now Colson Bunch, after the field goal, he's going to kick it off. And into the end zone for a touchback. And so now Talon Fisher coming back out onto the field, had the huge 50-plus yard touchdown. And
that was the big wake-up last drive. You know Fisher's good, but that play, you saw how good he was, how fast he was. So defensive backs being able to not let anything pass them is big. You know he's going to run. It's just going to happen. He's the best dual threat quarterback in the GMC. And he's like that for a reason. If he gets past you, he's gone.
Yep, and they're going to need to continue to watch that read option. And that just puts a little bit more pressure on the linebackers, Jake Bates, Kai Wolfolk, and even Nick Sailors, who they kind of love to move around as a chess piece on the defense. And Fisher hands it off. And Jackson is going to get 4 yards. And that's going to be another thing that's going to be really critical. If they can get Jackson going in the run game, they know how talented he is. That's just going to make it even harder to zero in on Talon Fisher and, you know, set up these more manageable 2nd and 3rd down situations where you can kind of lean on Talon Fisher's playmaking ability.
Nice one-on-one tackle there from Bates. Bates, the key guy on this defense, a true leader. You know, you were missing him a few weeks ago, and it was very noticeable that you didn't have him. So having him back and fully healthy, the biggest guy on this defense.
And Fisher fakes the handoff to the man in motion. He's going to run right. And a couple Mason guys get to him, and he is brought down. Malachi Reed with the shoelace tackle there.
It's exactly what you need. Make them go backwards, force them to throw the ball. Being able to, we've seen a few plays to the outside so far. Look at the replay here. Weston Simmons, great job to contain, not bite or anything like that. Good pursuit from the corners. overall nothing there for Fairfield.
Yeah, Simmons right there just trips up Talon Fisher. That's a big loss, you know, after a good first down play. So now 3rd and 10. Makes things interesting. Fisher takes the snap. He drops back to throw. Comets bringing a lot of pressure. Throws a good ball, and it's intercepted. Sean Krukenberg.
2 in a row.
He's been making plays all season long.
2 games in a row. We saw the pick 6 called back, and he gets his last senior game, senior night. You have an interception on your last homecoming in senior night.
See the replay here. Fisher throws a good ball, but Krukenberg just plays that perfectly, playing that deep zone, jumps the route at the exact right time.
Maybe a little bit underthrown, but great to take advantage of the underthrow. Krukenberg, one of the best defensive backs on this team, and gives the Comets their 3rd drive. Great field position once again.
Yeah, so that's another swing of momentum right there for Mason. We saw the turnover on the other side of the ball earlier swing things. Now the Comets have a chance to take the lead, and Larson Brown, Tay Hibbett back out on the field. And Brown takes a snap. He's going to drop back to throw. And he's going, looking deep. And nobody there, so he's just going to run to the line of scrimmage.
Saw him pump fake 3 times there, so he was obviously trying to go deep. Nothing there, able to get back to the line. May have lost 1, but still a good job to not force anything downfield, especially we just saw that on the last play.
Yeah, and these are the plays that Larson Brown's going to miss his favorite target, Braden Greer, out today with a hamstring injury, their top receiver on the season. And, you know, Larson Brown, that's normally his top deep threat, and couldn't find anybody on that play. Just had to settle for 2 yards. And Hibbett takes the handoff. Patience in the backfield, makes a jump cut, and he's going to get past the 50-yard line.
You mentioned Greer out. One guy we haven't really heard much of today already is Jack Ryder. He had such a very good game last week against Sycamore. So with guys like that, you're going to need Colin Billhorn, Jack Ryder, everybody like that to be able to step up with, you know, your number 1 receiver goes down. It's never easy to replace, but Mason, very good receiving core. So just got to see how they can go with that.
Yeah, and a guy I'm watching today, we already called his name once, but Larson's brother Quinn Brown, the tight end receiver hybrid. Look for him to continue to step up. And now Brown rolls out to his right, facing some pressure, makes a quick throw. And they're going to say Zach Adlita caught that one out of bounds, didn't have possession. So sets up 4th and 4. And the Comets went for it on a similar situation. On their last drive, they had some success, but here they're going to opt to punt
you
it.
don't want to get too greedy. I think it's a good idea to just punt here. You have the momentum on defense, just got the interception. You know, you don't want to give Fairfield the ball on your side of the field. So Krukenberg, the punter and returner, you know, if you're able to just pin him down here at the 1.
Devin Krukenberg. And it's a fake. We've seen them run it a couple times this season. Temi Adesanya gives him a great block. And Sean Krukenberg picks up the first down. He had an interception that gave the Comets possession here. And then right there, picks up the first down with a fake play.
We talk about 2 games in a row with the interception for Krukenberg. 2 games in a row with a fake punt.
And a couple great blocks here. The big one coming from the linebacker, Kai Woolfolk. There's a little bit of correction there, had that big block. And Sean Krukenberg just follows the blockers, and easy first down right there. He could have walked for it. So you love to see that if you're the Comets. They've called that a couple times this year, and defenses haven't really adjusted to it. It's been open. A lot of the time they love calling it around midfield.
Like I say, you have a great athlete there at punter. It's almost easy to do stuff like that.
And now Brown hands it off to Sailor, some patience, jump cuts. And he's brought down by Bivens.
Bivens, we talk about the best defender on this team going into today. 46 total tackles, 7.5 tackles for loss everywhere around the field. As we mentioned, tied for 5th going into tonight with in tackles with 46, as we talk about.
Yep, and now time ticking down here in the first quarter. This is going to be likely the last play of the quarter, unless it's a quick incompletion. And now Brown back to take the snap. He's got Sailors with him. And he's going to hand it off. Sailors trying to push his way forward for the first down. It's going to be close as that wraps up the first quarter. And they're going to call Sailors just short. So when we get back for the second quarter, Comets are going to have a 3rd and short. And it was a great, very competitive first quarter, a lot of action, a couple turnovers, some trick plays. We'll be back with you for the second quarter, so stick around.
Responsibly. Before going out, check for closures and fire restrictions. Practice social distancing, even when outside and on the trail. Back at home, if burning yard debris, keep your pile small. And no matter where you are, be sure to properly extinguish any outdoor fire. Drown, stir, drown, feel. We're all in this together. Help keep our safe places safe.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to ICRC-TV Sports. Three-pointer. Got it! In for the Comets score. Win! The Comets win! Yeah!
You're doing pretty good. And we are back here, second quarter. Comets have a 3rd and 2. It's Larson Brown. Hands it off to Nick Sailors, and he's going to push his way forward for that first down. So Comets pick up the conversion right there.
Talk about this running back duo, 2 very good power backs. You need those few yards. You put in Sailors. You need those big plays. You have Hibbett exactly for those situations, and Sailors doing what he does best, getting those short yards, extending the drive. It's first down for Mason.
And we're also seeing a lot of Weston Simmons on offense today. Normally a safety. He does play some running back, but they're using him almost as a slot receiver today. So,
well, like we say, with Greer out, you need somebody to step up.
Yeah,
We've had Brown
creative.
step up. Creative's going to win as long as it's good.
Brown under center. Hibbett in the backfield. As Brown takes the snap. Fakes to Hibbett, and he's got a guy in his eye. And the play is still alive. They're going to call that a fumble or some confusion there. One of the refs called it dead. The other said it was live, and they're going to say that's an incompletion.
Josh Mapin on there. Great job to get the tip ball there. We've seen a lot of rolling out from Larson Brown so far, so just all you can ask for from a defensive lineman there. Not really pursue the sack. You see him going, so get a hand on it.
Yep, and the bread and butter of the Fairfield offense is the play action. The Comets have tried to establish that today, and plays like that are going to help Fairfield stop it when you have your big D linemen shedding blocks and making stops. So now Brown hands it off to Hibbett, and he's not going to go very far.
I haven't seen Hibbett really get to the outside at all. The one play I really remember from last week where he did get to the outside, threw a Sycamore guy right onto the turf on a huge stiff arm. Went in for the touchdown, was called back, but you let Hibbett get to the outside on a one-on-one, the defender's just not going to win.
Yeah, and here on 3rd and 10, Comets probably going to be forced to pass as they put Nick Sailors, their 3rd down back, out there. They've got 4 receivers out, or Quentin Kaler, the tight end, is lined up, kind of a receiver in motion, and Brown drops back, clean pocket. He finds Sailors in a drop, and Sailors going to be really, really frustrated with himself after that one.
May have been thinking about getting the first down there first. You just got to catch the ball.
Yep, got a bit of ahead of himself. Maybe was looking towards the end zone. There was some green grass in front of him, especially after last week when he had 5 touchdowns. And they're in a spot where this is 4-down territory, so right there you didn't even need the first down. And now 4th and 10 at the 29.
It is 4th and yeah, but that's the thing. It's 4th and 10.
Yeah, but at the 29-yard line, it's a little too far for a field goal. You're not punting it from here.
You're not losing much if going for it here. Browns look good today, being able to get the ball deep downfield.
And he takes it. There's a high snap, recovers, throws it to his running back, Sailors, and he's got some space on the edge. First down, Nick Sailors.
There we go. After the drop, Nick Sailors able to redeem himself there on the screen. He's touchdown, so play that's really been working. Nick Sailors might be in for a big game.
And the Comets just decided they don't want to punt today. They've gone for it twice on 4th down. In addition, and they called him just short.
What?
Stepped out of bounds before he passed the first down.
Wow.
Passed the first down marker. Comets thought they had it.
You could see a
Fooled
lot.
us too.
You saw a lot of confusion from Sailors there. Not exactly sure what was going on, but that's what happened. So
that's a big swing of momentum now. Fairfield
gets a
offense back out there.
Huge break there.
Yeah, and where they marked the ball was literally inches short of the first down marker. Steelers steps out of bounds just too early. Now Talon Fisher hands the ball off, and a massive stop from Bryce Falk.
A little bit of a delayed handoff there. You could see him bobble the snap a little bit. May have got him by just a step, but that could really be everything in a run.
Yeah, and the Comets now kind of backed up in the Fairfield possession. This defense needs to make a statement. You thought you were going to have the first down there. You thought we were going to score some points.
Really, other than that big touchdown run, this defense has been able to contain Fisher very well so far. Really contain everything well.
Yep, and now Fisher in the shotgun. He's going to take the snap, hands it off there, and stuffed again. Comet defense been terrific.
Jordan Jackson.
Same play, same result. Caden Davis there on the tackle. One of the leading tacklers for Mason. The best player up front on the interior. Just able to crash through the middle, not let Fairfield get anything there.
Yeah, Caden Davis in the past has been more of an edge rusher. This year they moved him inside, and he's been productive. He's got some Division I offers, so he's a player to continue to keep an eye on. Talon Fisher, he's scrambling, was looking for the pass downfield, and he still throws it, and he finds his receiver. What a play. That is a Division I play right there. Rolling out, looks like he's going to scramble just before he gets back to the line of scrimmage, chucks it.
Only thing going through my mind during that play is throw it away, but you have a guy like that able to just extend it, and what a throw there on the run by the sideline. Yeah, that's a Division I kind of play right there.
Referees, they throw a flag.
Late flag, very late.
Yeah, so they were discussing something right after that play ended. Fairfield never crossed. You know, the officials signaled a completed catch, but Fairfield never moved. The chains never moved. So a penalty is going to push Fairfield back. And now they're going to be forced to punt.
So you get a break there for Mason. Fairfield gets the break on that really close 4th down call. Mason gets it right back.
The Indians, the receiver went out of bounds and came back in.
Yeah, so what it was the receiver ran out of bounds on his route, probably assumed that Talon Fisher was just going to hold on to it, scramble, and then came back into the play and catch it. You know, if you're forced out, if the receiver's forced out of bounds by a defender, he is allowed to come back into the play. If he goes out under his own will, he's ineligible for the rest of that play. So that's why it's going to be 4th down. So not a penalty. So not an unnecessary roughness or anything after the play like we initially thought.
Even though he is taken back, you're Fisher. That is the play to put in a highlight reel.
Yeah, right there. Really good play. He had pressure from the moment he took the snap, and was still able to make something out of it. But disappointing drive for Fairfield. Another 3 and out. Outside of that 50-plus yard touchdown, it's been the Comets defense that's been doing most of the playmaking.
There's not many quarterbacks that can even get in that situation. We talk about how good of a runner he is, but you have that good of a runner, he's not going to get sacked too often, able to extend. Fortunately, legal touching.
Yeah, so Talon Fisher, also the punter, and it's a fake, and he's going to throw it now, and just barely misses his target, Isaiah Glover. And so Daniel actually had in his notes today that Talon Fisher, the punter, also the quarterback, watch out for some fakes. And we hadn't talked about it yet because we didn't think they were in a field position where you could go for a fake. And right there, I can't believe they called it. Honestly, probably right there. Yeah, 4th and 19, backed up in, within the 20 of your own side of the field. Most likely was a botched snap there. Something blew up that Fisher didn't like.
Fortunately, Talon Fisher is no Sean Krukenberg.
Yeah, Talon Fisher does not convert there. Or they're actually going to redo this play. Yeah. So Krukenberg takes the punt and down right around the 50.
Krukenberg on punt returns has been super aggressive, especially against Sycamore last week. No fair catches. There were a few, almost all the punts were good coverage by Sycamore, but he still, he doesn't care. He's just going to take the ball and get whatever he can out of it. And super aggressive returner, and that's what you're going to need.
Yeah, now Comets again having good field position, and that is so critical in a close game like this.
Haven't had a drive yet where you're starting deep inside your territory of the field, but
yeah, and opposite, Fairfield hasn't had a drive where they've started in good positioning except for the one when they forced a fumble. So Comets been in good position. Larson Brown takes the snap, drops back to throw, clean pocket. He finds his target. That's Colin Billhorn. He's targeting a couple times tonight, the slot receiver. He's looking to step up in his buddy Braden Greer's absence.
What a throw there from Brown. He was able to get a bunch of zip on the ball. See the replay here, clean pocket. Right where Billhorn needed it.
Yeah, Billhorn had some double coverage, but Larson Brown places that ball exactly where it needs to be, like you said. Put some zip on the ball.
Still haven't
leans
heard
into the throw.
Still haven't heard Jack Ryder's name yet.
Nope. And Kaler in motion, but Brown just going to hand it off to Hibbett. And he's going to get stopped. And Daniel, part of the reason we probably haven't heard Jack Ryder's name so far is Josiah Jackson, their lockdown cornerback going to West Virginia, has him manned up on the other side of the field. So they've been putting Ryder and Jackson on an island and then kind of using their safeties to stop the other receivers. And you have to imagine Jackson would have been matched up with Greer if he was playing today.
It's a matchup before I heard that he was out that I was really looking forward to, but with how Ryder's getting locked down, great job from guys like Billhorn to step up.
And right here, Jackson is going to be on Billhorn, and they're going to run a sweep. Nick Sailors is going to get just a couple yards, setting up a 3rd and medium. Didn't get as much space right there as he would have liked. 3rd and 8, so not a very generous spot from the referees. And this is a spot right here where you don't need the first down. You just need to get a couple yards because you're getting close to 4-down territory at the 36-yard line. 3-4 yards here gets you in a spot where you're comfortable going for it on 4th. And now Larson Brown back with Nick Sailors. He's going to take the snap, facing a lot of pressure. And right there,
yeah, a late flag, had it in his hands.
And that's likely going to be some pass interference. Jack Ryder was draped in coverage. Still, Larson Brown delivered an accurate throw, which is impressive considering how much pressure he was facing.
First time we hear Jack Ryder's name, flag on Fairfield, so.
Yeah, and he was defended right there by Xavier Isaacs, their other quarterback. So the officials meeting here to discuss the official call.
It's been a relatively clean game this half. No big,
yeah, and it is pass interference. The Comets going to get a new set of downs. Yeah, the only penalties we've seen are the pass interference right there, and then earlier when the illegal touching when the receiver went out of the field of play, and then came back in. So clean game so far, which is always good to see when you have two rivals. And now Larson Brown, Nick Sailors. He's got Weston Simmons in motion, and Brown clean pocket again. Throws it to Ryder right away, and Isaacs gets his revenge. As soon as Ryder touched the ball, he knocked it down with a nice pass break up there.
Talk about the penalties. Last week against Sycamore, Mason was able to take advantage of the penalties.
That time it was broken up.
So being able to keep a clean game, any game, it's going to be helpful, but especially in territory like this where Mason is, can't have any big flags like that.
Yep, so a couple drops already in the game for the Comets. We'll see if they prove detrimental again. Larson Brown, big snap, but Fairfield jumps off sides.
And there's the penalty.
Yeah, I believe that was the D lineman, James Thomas, as he checks off the field. So the Comets catch another break as they're now going to get 2nd and 5 instead of 2nd and 10. That really opens up your playbook on 2nd down. You're much more likely to run it now.
Just barely 6 minutes and 30 seconds. Mason's still looking for their first touchdown. If you're able to get it here, Fairfield will get the ball going into the second half. So if you're able to take the lead, or no, I'm sorry. Mason gets the ball.
Comets will have possession after the half, so you score a touchdown here, get another stop on defense, you could potentially have a couple score lead. And right here, 2nd and medium, they do opt to run it. Not to much success though, as Sailors gets maybe a yard, 3rd and 4. And so again, Comets probably in 4-down territory here.
Haven't been forced to punt yet. Every time it's 4th down, it's 4th and just a few. And we've seen 4th and just a few really just is, especially if you're putting the punting team out there.
Yeah, it's very manageable. And right here on 3rd and 4, you've got some options. And Fairfield's defense has been pretty squishy so far. They're giving the receivers some space, and Larson Brown has been attacking the quick game, making those quick passes in the flats, and we'll see if they go there again. Tight end Kaler in motion. Larson Brown being blitzed. He's scrambling, and he's going to hold on to it. Needs to throw that one away and doesn't.
And just
It's
a free
big
rusher
loss
there.
And he went down hard. Struggles to get back up.
JoJo Baker broke through.
As we see the replay here.
Fairfield.
Jordan Baker, the linebacker, gets right through the center and drags Larson Brown down. His helmet nearly came off.
Walking off a little wobbly, but he is able to run off, so hopefully just get the wind knocked out of him a little bit.
Yeah, looked like it there. Now Colson Bunch is coming out to kick a 38-yard field goal. This would be the longest of his career. Kick is up.
Has the distance.
And it's good. So 2 field goals for Colson Bunch. This is his first year playing football. And now he's keeping the Comets in the game with his kicking. Senior night there, the Comet crowd excited.
You know, you're able to get points out of that with the blown 3rd down. Now, huge drive. Fairfield is up by 1. Most likely the last drive Fairfield will get this half. So here Mason only limiting them to 7 points this first half. If you're able to keep that, especially with the ball going into halftime, you got to go in with some sort of momentum. You can't allow another 60-yard run.
Yeah, and if I'm Fairfield, as much as I'm frustrated with the lack of offense so far, you know, obviously outside of the one big play, you've got to be content with the fact that Mason only has 6 points on the board, considering they've had the ball, you know, in Fairfield territory almost every possession. They've had the ball in the red zone a couple times. It's a miracle that they don't have a couple touchdowns, you know, and Fairfield's had a couple breaks.
In your Fairfield, you still have a lot of time to put together a drive. There's no need to rush, no need anything like that. Of course, 60-yard touchdown would be nice, but
Comet offense, though, they've got to be frustrated. They've been in positions to score points. They've driven down the field, just not able to close so far.
Except for the first drive, they've been able to put drives together. It's just about finishing off, capitalizing on points. You've been able to get the field goals, but the game's about getting 6.
Now Bunch with the kickoff, and this one a little shorter, not quite a touchback. And going to be returned to about the 25-yard line.
The Comet kickoff returned by the Indians.
See what Fairfield does here. Seen a little more passing than usual this half. A little less of the read options or the quarterback draws, see if they go back to that. That's where the run game for Fisher has been working, those just up the middle runs.
Yeah, Fisher, they've been leaning on the read option so far today. And we'll see if he goes there as he hands it off. And he takes a snap and drops back to throw. He's going deep. And an pretty accurate ball hit the hands of his target, Isaiah Glover, but great coverage.
Double coverage throw, pretty accurate. Just not able to get it. Good defense there from Mason. See on the replay.
Yeah, J.C. Deaton made a nice pass break up there. Used his speed to stay with Glover, and then finished off the play. But the Comets also had some pressure there. Malachi Reed got to the quarterback. So Talon Fisher muffs that snap. It's ball's on the ground. Comets trying to pick it up. Nobody seeming able to get there. And Fairfield gets it. And that's a missed opportunity.
Seen a few pretty bad snaps so far, both sides. Fairfield able to get a huge break of getting the ball there.
Tyler Wilson nearly had it. He just slides right past the ball. You know, Talon Fisher, that bounced off his hands immediately after the snap. Comets had a chance there to not just get the ball, but to get it within the red zone.
You know, you expect a little more of the bobbly kind of receives from the center with the weather starting to dip lower and lower as the game goes on. We've seen a few of that already.
But Fisher takes this one when he forced to pass on 3rd and long, facing a lot of pressure now. He gets to run. This is where he's comfortable. Pushed out of bounds, though, by Kai Wolfolk. And so now it'll be 4th and medium.
If you're Fairfield, you got to punt here.
Well, and this is definitely a spot where you want to punt, but when you've got a quarterback like Talon Fisher, especially when he's your punter, you can consider the fake play here. But just under, you know, about 3.5 minutes left in this half, you don't want to give up any field position to the Comets and allow them to take the lead heading into halftime. Can't give up any more momentum than you already have.
We've already seen a fake from Fairfield already.
And look at, if you just look at Talon Fisher's body language, you can tell he's frustrated with the way he and his offense are playing right now. And he's going to punt it, and this one's a lot better than his first punt. Picked up by Krukenberg and goes down the sideline and a little bit past the 40-yard line. So the Comets going to have 3 minutes to go about 60 yards down the field trying to take the lead.
They're able to get the ball back. 3 minutes left. You've been able to put together great drives so far. You have all 3 timeouts as well. No team has taken a timeout so far. Pretty quick half. You're down by 1. You've been able to give field goals, even getting a field goal, just taking the lead somehow going into half and then getting the ball back. Big drive for Mason. See what they do.
Now Comets have Weston Simmons in motion. 3 receivers out wide. Brown drops back, throwing deep for Quentin Kaler, and just ball placement a little bit off. That ball sails out of bounds. So now 2nd and 10.
These past few minutes, we've seen a lot of deep shots from both teams. Last drive, the Fairfield double coverage shot. No team has really been able to capitalize much on the deep ball except for that 1 4th down where Brown was able to get it to Brown on for first drive, being able to set up great field position. But other than that, good defense so far from each team in the secondary.
So now the Comets under center. Hand it off to Sailors, and he's got some room. He's going down. He's got some space. He's got speed at the 10-yard line, at the 5. Touchdown, Nick Sailors. Again, last week 5 touchdowns. Today on senior night, picks up his 9th on the year. What a play from Nicholas Sailors.
And that's 6 straight touchdowns. Last 6 from Mason. Nick Sailors being able to get the breakaway speed to the edge. How about these past 2 games from Nick Sailors?
He got chased down, but that wasn't enough. Nick Sailors just enough of a stride there to pick up the touchdown. And now 3 minutes left in the 2nd quarter. That's a huge swing of momentum. This Comets sideline re-energized by that.
You saw the sideline right there going absolutely wild, and
Colson Bunch's extra point is good. So now the Comets take a 13-7 lead with 3 minutes and 4 seconds left in the first half.
there's a touchdown that you needed. We've been talking about it, able to put together the great drives, but both touchdowns so far from each team. One big 50-yard run and another big run. So run game has really been, honestly, both run and pass game for both teams has been very good so far.
Yeah.
Just been able to get their one big run that they've needed.
And that play right there is what the Comets have been waiting for, and what I've been waiting to see from them. Honestly, they've been the better team all night, outside of a couple Talon Fisher plays that, just show why he's such a highly touted recruit. The Comets have been dominant on both sides of the ball. Their run game's been more effective. Their pass game's been more effective. And the scoreboard wasn't showing it, and there finally break away for the big play.
Especially with this defense, it's got to mean a little more. Almost every starter on this defense is a senior. Your last senior night, your last home game against a division rival like Fairfield, there's got to be a little more energy than just regular game.
Yeah, that kickoff a little short from Bunch. Fairfield going to start with the ball around the 34-yard line. So now the Comets, obviously you're happy with the big play touchdown. You're never going to say no to 7 points, especially at this point in the game. But they scored a little quickly. We were expecting Mason to maybe run out the rest of the half with that possession. Now Fairfield has enough time to go down and score a touchdown of their own if they are able to.
Yeah, much different drive than we've seen. As you said, we expected them to kind of get the clock down, score right before half, but Nick Saylor's had something to say about that. But you almost wondered, did you give Fisher too much time?
Yeah, and if this was the fourth quarter with 3 minutes left, I think we'd be having a bit of a different conversation there about scoring early. We saw it with the Bengals-Ravens game earlier, but now second quarter, you're just happy with it. And Jordan Jackson picks up about 3 yards there.
No need to bring up that game.
I love drawing some NFL parallels whenever I see them, and scoring too early around the half or the quarter, sometimes comes back to bite teams. I don't think it's going to hurt the Comets here, but you never know.
Especially with how this defense has been playing. Fairfield, they're known for their offense racking up the scoreboard. They haven't been able to put together a very big drive at all yet.
Yeah, and now Fisher again back, and really they haven't been able to get Jordan Jackson going, and now Fisher with the read option. He's got some space, breaks a tackle and brought down at the 50-yard line. But they need Jordan Jackson to get going. Every time he's getting it, it's 4 yards max. The Comets have been good about stuffing the run. The only time that Fairfield's offense is moving is when Talon Fisher takes a read option and gets out into space. Right now they're one-dimensional. And the Comets, when you have a defense as talented as Mason, they can stop one-dimensional. And there.
Just the speed from Fisher. They're 2 big plays to touchdown, read option. They're probably their second biggest play on offense so far, the read option.
He's going to take the snap, fakes the handoff, throws the quick pass, and overthrows his target. That was Isaiah Glover again down the field.
He had him.
Yeah, he had him. That would have been a touchdown. Glover had a lot of space. He beat Zach Rogers down the field, but Talon Fisher trying to get the ball out quick. Just a little off target.
Him a little bit. Few breaks. We've seen a little bit of inconsistency so far in the passing game from Fisher. Just a few plays so far where it's like if you can get that right there, it can be a completely different game.
Yep, Fisher now on second down. Again, takes it for himself and picks up about 6 yards. He does that so well, fighting through that extra yardage, using that strength.
This is the first time really that we've seen Fairfield be able to put together a big drive. The read option once again, that's how they're getting their big yards. So you're Mason, that's the play that you probably circled going into the week, is that read option.
And a lot of energy right now in this at Dwyer Field, senior night. So potentially the last home game of the season, definitely the last home game of the regular season for Mason. And a lot of community support today. Mentioned earlier, it was a pink out in the Comet student section. And
looks like we got a timeout from Fairfield.
Yeah, Fairfield now on 3rd and 4, trying to keep this drive alive. Potentially 4 down territory here They need to get points on the board. Mason gonna start the second half with the ball.
Yeah, you really just need to end it off with points. You get something close here. It really is 4th down territory. You have enough time on the clock, just barely under 2 minutes. Don't have to panic or anything like that yet. But with Mason getting the ball, field goal would be nice, but 7 would be a lot better.
And a Fairfield receiver just jumps that snap a little bit, got aggressive, and literally fell over. Daniel, I used to be a swimmer, and I can remember up on the starting blocks that happens sometimes. You get a little anxious and you fall in the water. That's exactly what that looked like. Number 8 just fell flat onto his stomach trying to anticipate the snap.
There's a play that you want to forget.
Absolutely. It's cost his team 5 yards now. Instead of 3rd and 4, it's 3rd and 9. So that's a big difference, especially when you're in position potentially in 4th down territory. And just falls over.
Any chance we get a read option here?
And Fisher drops back snap, looking down the field. And nearly an amazing one-handed catch.
Another throw from Fisher, just a little bit high. That's been the ongoing theme of the passing game so far. Hoping the second half you could start to get the accuracy a little better, but there's just another play where if you're able to get that, it would be a 1st down, but punting unit out now, see if maybe they fake.
Yeah, and right there, that's back-to-back missed opportunities. 3rd and 4, that's 4 down territory. Then right there, you've got a guy open, goes for the fancy catch. Doesn't get it, and Fisher, with his best punt of the night so far, Krukenberg, gonna field that one about the 13-yard line, and just over a minute and a half left in the half for the Comet offense.
I think that's the first time I've seen Sean Krukenberg call for a fair catch, especially last week against Sycamore. That was a lot of the coverage that he saw on punts, and he just didn't care. He just took it and got the yards that he needed, but able to keep it safe, especially right against your goal line. Don't want to risk anything.
Yeah, now Comet offense, we'll see how aggressive or conservative they choose to be. Just late in the first half. Larson Brown under center and going to hand it off to Hibbett. He's going to get a decent chunk of yardage there.
And there's a fall forward from Hibbett we've seen a lot more of today. First hit, able to just go through it.
Yeah, right there. He does not look like a sophomore. He is built for a running back, the perfect size for a power back, over 6 feet tall.
Looked like Hibbett
stocky
was
build.
moving his leg a little weirdly. May have gotten a little shaken up after that play.
And now Larson Brown under center. Again, Hibbett in the backfield. They hand it off to the sophomore. He's going to power his way for a 1st down. So now just about 46 seconds left.
Looks like they're
just first half.
Looks like they're just going to run out the clock most likely.
Yeah, potentially, but now that you've got that 1st down, you do have a bit more of an open playbook. You can try to take a shot downfield, but the clock continues to run, so the Comets leaning on the conservative side. But Larson Brown has the arm strength to make a play down the field. The question is, are the playmakers going to be able to win downfield against some of these defensive backs?
Clock just now dips under 30.
And now Brown looking downfield for Ryder, and Ryder with the comeback route there is going to pick up the 1st down and get out of bounds. So 17 seconds left.
It's another play action from Brown and able to put it right on the money right there.
And Ryder, when he was bringing down that catch, did not have possession. So right there was a good ball from Brown, but not going to convert. It's going to be 2nd and 10 again.
17 seconds left. Doesn't feel like there's really any need to force anything.
No, you don't want to have an unnecessary turnover and kind of swing the momentum. You've already got things going your way. Defense playing strong. Big touchdown from Nick Sailors earlier. And now hands it off to Sailors, and he's brought down immediately. And James Thomas knocks him down. And now the Comets just going to let the clock run down.
We've heard a lot of Thomas in the backfield so far today as we just now get into halftime.
And yeah, Comets heading into halftime. They have a lead 13-7 over Fairfield. Nick Sailors had the big touchdown a few minutes back to give the Comets the lead. Their defense playing well. And we'll be back with all the second half action for this closely contested GMC matchup. So stay tuned.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
I hear someone go, "Didn't it come from you guys?"
Strangers cough at me.
Move away from me.
Someone spit towards my direction. All the stereotypes that we've worked so hard to break are just going to be reversed. And I won't let that happen.
We all have to play our part.
I donate my plasma?
I've been making masks.
We deserve respect as much as everybody else.
I'm a firefighter, not a virus.
I'm a mask maker, not a virus.
I'm a nurse.
I'm a delivery woman, chef, a neighbor, artist.
Bus driver.
I'm a doctor.
Fight the virus. Fight the virus.
Play Eric Amarola's Race Day Mix.
On air or online, this is media for your community. This is ICRC-TV.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
I hear someone go, "Didn't it come from you guys?"
Strangers cough at me.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to ICRC-TV Sports. Three-pointer. Got it! In for the Comets score. Comets win! Yeah!
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Spending time outdoors has never felt more valuable. Whether it's exploring nature or relaxing in your yard, let's do it responsibly. Before going out, check for closures and fire restrictions. Practice social distancing, even when outside and on the trail. Back at home, if burning yard debris, keep your pile small. And no matter where you are, be sure to properly extinguish any outdoor fire. Drown, stir, drown, feel. We're all in this together. Help keep our safe places safe.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to ICRC-TV Sports. Three-pointer. Got it! In for the Comets score. Comets win! Yeah!
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Spending time outdoors has never felt more valuable. Whether it's exploring nature or relaxing in your yard, let's do it responsibly. Before going out, check for closures and fire restrictions. Practice social distancing, even when outside and on the trail. Back at home, if burning yard debris, keep your pile small. And no matter where you are, be sure to properly extinguish any outdoor fire. Drown, stir, drown, feel. We're all in this together. Help keep our safe places safe.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to ICRC-TV Sports. Three-pointer. Got it! In for the Comets score. Comets win! Yeah!
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
On air or online. This is media for your community. This is ICRC-TV.
There's no better feeling than to be a part of a fire department. This is a family.
Police officer, it's a great job. It really is. You never know what you're going to get. You never know who you're going to help.
We're forgetting what's going on outside. We're focusing on what's going on in here, and we're all family.
This idea of a family academy, connecting families to talk about relevant issues.
Unbelievable. Milford has stormed all the way back in this football game. The Warriors in the state finals! State finals! Ohio Wesleyan, here we come!
And it's up to every one of you all to keep this going and carry the torch. I hope you will do that. Thank you.
ICRC-TV. On air or online. This is media for your community. This is ICRC-TV.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars. Really tall. I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands? Yes. You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, everyone, and welcome to ICRC-TV Sports. Three-pointer. Got it! In for the Comets score. Comets win! Yeah!
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
I hear someone go, didn't it come from you guys?
Strangers cough at me.
Move away from me.
Someone spit towards my direction. All the stereotypes that we've worked so hard to break are just going to be reversed. And I won't let that happen.
We all have to play our part.
I donate my plasma.
I've been making masks.
We deserve respect as much as everybody else.
I'm a firefighter, not a virus.
I'm a mask maker, not a virus.
I'm a nurse.
I'm a delivery woman,
Chef, a neighbor,
Artist.
Bus driver.
I'm a doctor.
Fight the virus. Fight the virus.
Your house a reality. Homeschooling yourself on loans, color-coding listings, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. If you can ace house hunting, you can do it for retirement. Get on track with tips at aceyourretirement.org.
Play Eric Amarola's Race Day Mix.
Three, two, one.
Spending time outdoors has never felt more valuable. Whether it's exploring nature or relaxing in your yard, let's do it responsibly. Before going out, check for closures and fire restrictions. Practice social distancing, even when outside and on the trail. Back at home, if burning yard debris, keep your pile small. And no matter where you are, be sure to properly extinguish any outdoor fire. Drown, stir, drown, feel. We're all in this together. Help keep our safe places safe.
That leaves us with the next item on our agenda is item number 5, opening session.
I want to thank everyone for joining us this evening. If you're out here at the parade or listening, thank you again.
Into the end zone, and that is caught by Jaden Wood.
Come on now, how we doing? Y'all feeling all right out there?
Hello and welcome to this edition of This is Glendale. I'm Bet Chorus.
Hey guys, this is Unit 1 crew from Woodlawn Fire Department. We just want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
And of course, you can always go to ICRC-TV.com.
Always a great day when ICRC is involved.
Another edition of ICRC, bringing the community to you.
Observe a domesticated human family in their natural habitat, known to their species as the backyard.
Hey, you think I should light it now?
I think it's good.
Yeah?
Oh dear, someone is about to burn a pile of debris that's too tall, which can start a wildfire. Wait, could it be? Blimey, it is.
It's Smokey.
It's Smokey Bear. What a legend.
Hey, it's Smokey. Sorry, it was too high. Right.
Watch as he astutely ensures that there's no wind, and how he removes some of the debris to create a smaller, safer burning pile.
No, you said make it bigger, baby. The bigger, the better.
Take note of our fearless furry friend here, humans.
I appreciate it. Fist bump.
Watching you.
Smokey's done it again.
Bye, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Always a great day when ICRC is involved.
Another edition of ICRC, bringing the community to you.
On air or online. This is media for your community. This is ICRC-TV.
There's no better feeling than to be a part of a fire department. This is a family.
Police officer, it's a great job. It really is. You never know what you're going to get. You never know who you're going to help.
We're forgetting what's going on outside. We're focusing on what's going on in here, and we're all family.
This idea of a family academy, connecting families to talk about relevant issues.
Unbelievable. Milford has stormed all the way back in this football game.
The Warriors in the state finals! State finals, Ohio Wesleyan, here we go!
And it's up to every one of you all to keep this going and carry the torch. I hope you will do that. Thank you.
ICRC-TV. On air or online, this is media for your community. This is ICRC-TV.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we are back here for the second half as the Comets currently lead 13-7 over the Fairfield Indians. And the Comets started things off with a field goal. Fairfield had the first touchdown of the night. Talon Fisher, their star quarterback, ran for a 55-yarder. Then Comets, Colson Bunch hit a 40-yard field goal to make it 7-6, and then Nick Sailors closed out the second quarter with a 50-yard touchdown of his own. So the Comets have been the better team so far tonight, but pretty close on the scoreboard. Fairfield has been able to kind of have a bend, don't break defense so far. Yeah, I'm Andrew Little here with Daniel, and Daniel, you kind of have a breakdown of last half.
Yeah, the two big things from that half was defense and long runs. We saw the 2 touchdowns, one from each team on big runs, but everything else has been either a good drive put together and can't execute it, or just great defense in general. We've seen Mason's defense able to keep Fisher in check, basically this whole running group in check, except for a few read options, but it's looked really good for Mason going into the second half. You're getting the ball and you're up by 6, able to make this a 2-point game with even just a field goal this drive.
Yeah, and Comets do have a lot of momentum. They're going to return this kickoff, so starting the half with the ball. They can get a touchdown here, even a field goal, but it's definitely a touchdown. They could potentially run away with this ball game. We saw a couple weeks ago, Dakota West, tight game at the half, and then West ran away with things. The Comets are going to try to do that right here. Charlie Raymond is going to take the kickoff, and he's dragged down just past the 20-yard line. He's fighting, staying up there, but eventually brought down about the 24. So now Larson Brown going to trot out there, the quarterback. He's been solid so far tonight.
And so far in the first half, everybody has been solid on this offense. Nick Sailors had that big touchdown run. We've seen a lot of nice runs from Hibbett, able to extend drives, and Larson Brown having very good first half, just to say the least, able to extend a bunch of plays, a lot of play action. I think we'll be seeing a lot more of that this half.
Yep, and Sailors, who had that big touchdown run a few minutes before the end of the first half backfield. Larson Brown is going to hand it off to him, and he's not going to get very far before Ray Coney takes him down.
Ray Coney made the stop.
Not getting much there. First play, getting everything back settled in, trying to get the run game going, which is what I think Mason needs to do. You get a run game going. Of course, last week against Sycamore, that's how they won the game, threw Nick Sailors on the ground. I think they might be trying to do more of that.
Now, Larson Brown under center. He takes the snap. And play action, rolls out to his right, facing some pressure, but gets the throw off. And he finds this receiver, Zach Adlita, tiptoes it in, and that would have been a catch in the NFL there as he got both feet in bounds. Impressive toe tap there. So Comets now gonna have a first down around midfield.
And another play we've seen almost every play action from Larson Brown so far, throwing on the run. He's been great at it. A lot more throwing on the run than just in the pocket throws, and the way it's going, there's no need to switch it up.
Yeah, this play action really been working so far for Mason. That's something they've been trying to get going all season long. Today, having a lot of success. And now Larson Brown gonna hand it off to Tay Hibbett and breaks through a tackle. And he picks up almost 8 yards. You know, it's so impressive. Hibbett, you know, contact almost immediately at the line of scrimmage, and he's able to break through tackles just so easily.
Much better running from Hibbett so far this game. We mentioned last week against Sycamore, he's getting stopped at the line, not being able to push for much. In this game, it's almost been the complete opposite. Breaking the first contact right at the line of scrimmage and being able to push for an extra 6-7 yards. Can't ask for much more.
And that's been crucial, setting up these second and shorts. They take a lot of pressure off the play calling, off of Larson Brown. They make things easier. And now hand it off again to Hibbett. And he pushes forward. He's still going. Brought down at the 40-yard line, first down. Tay Hibbett running violently right now. He's just dragging Fairfield defenders everywhere he goes.
The only thing I can think of when seeing that is that's a sophomore running back. Imagine in 2 years when this guy's a senior and he's just running all over defenses. This definitely has the brightest future out of anybody on this team. Well, probably the youngest player on this team, honestly.
Yeah, not a lot of sophomores. You know, play a lot. One of the offensive linemen, Liam Davidson, is a sophomore. Sophomore Tammy Adesanya plays some on defense, but mostly upperclassmen for the Comets. So Larson Brown fires that one into tight coverage. Hits the hands of Colin Billhorn, nearly intercepted on the bounce. So now, 2nd and 10. Brown kind of catches a break there.
A lot of zip on the ball from Brown over the middle. We mentioned earlier with the snapping, with weather going down a little bit, there's a flag.
Brown put a lot of heat on that ball, threw it into tight coverage, and probably wasn't the best decision there. There's a pass breakup and holding on the Comets as well. So Mason gets pushed back a lot to make a bad play worse. Now it's going to be, you know, replay first down, but, or excuse me, it's going to be second, and it's going to replay second down, 2nd and 20.
We've seen good passing so far from the few attempts this half from Larson Brown. Really nothing inaccurate so far.
Yeah, replaying first down here. Quentin Kaler moving, and now Brown fakes the handoff to Sailors, rolls out to his left, facing some pressure, and he's going to throw it away. Smart decision by Brown.
2nd and 20, nothing downfield. Don't force anything, throw it away. For first down 20.
Yeah, and that's a skill that Larson Brown's improved so far this season. Earlier in the year, especially when he was coming directly off of those injuries, he was kind of forcing some plays, holding on the ball too long, and he was taking a lot of sacks. That's what caused him. The second injury was a hard sack. So Larson Brown showing a lot more pocket presence and poise.
Very good protection as well so far today.
And hands it off to Sailors, showing some patience. But wow, Big tackle from Kavi Bivens as he just pile drives Nick Sailors.
Joe Jackson.
So now going to set up 3rd and long.
Kavi Bivens, as we mentioned, #1 leading tackler for this Fairfield team for a reason. You see a big tackle there on Sailors. It's the reason he's #1.
Yeah, and now Comets probably going to be forced to pass it here. And for the first time tonight, I feel like on 3rd down, we're going to say they're not in field goal range. This is probably an area where they would punt if they don't convert or at least pick up some significant yardage here. Definitely looking to get around that 35-yard line if you do want to go for it on 4th. Weston Simmons in motion. Larson Brown takes a snap out of the shotgun, rolls out to his left. He's got protection, and he finds his target. But even then, only going to pick up about 4 yards. So now 4th and 12 going to be the call. 4th and 13, excuse me. So not a great spot for the Comets, and they're still going to have to punt despite that completion.
4th down and 13.
You know, we saw a fake punt earlier, but that was a 4th and 4. I don't think there's any reason to fake it here. Krukenberg, we've seen these past few games being able to pin the punt down inside the 5.
And Krukenberg holds on to it there to kind of try to signal a fake, but punts it away, gets a nice bounce. So Fairfield's going to start with the ball just around their own 11-yard line.
Every drive you got to be thinking is, when is Fisher going to take over? Because this is not a game that you see Fisher having a lot, especially last week with such a dominant game. You got to think that, you know, any play he could really just take over.
Yeah, not only was it a dominant game, he put up big numbers against Lakota West, who has a star-studded defense, multiple Division I recruits, a lot of star power, and he, over 200 yards rushing there. He had his team within a touchdown away of winning that game. Fisher run the bubble screen. Is that intercepted? I think it is. Comets pick up the tip. Jake Bates, the senior, comes up with it. And that is a major swing of momentum. The Comets going to get the ball around the goal line. And Talon Fisher tries to throw the bubble screen, and it is blown up.
And Bates is hyped right now.
And don't let Nick Sailors be unsung here, as he's the one that gets a hand on that football, tips it up. Jake Bates comes down with it. And now Comets have all the momentum, getting the ball right at the 1-yard line. Probably going to see Nick Sailors, who just made that play, have a chance to run it in for another touchdown.
And Mason just has all the momentum right now. You're getting the ball inside the 10. Perfect Nick Sailors range. You're able to make this game 20-7, possibly. And if you do that, 2-possession game, it's hard for a team who doesn't have much going for them to even to come back in a situation like this.
Yeah, and that is a game-changing play, a rare mistake from Talon Fisher. And Larson Brown gonna push forward, trying to get the QB sneak, and there's a flag thrown. Fairfield seems to think it's gonna be on the Comets.
Larson Brown kept it.
We'll see what the officials have to say, but Brown did not get the touchdown regardless.
On that play.
See Nick Sailors.
Yeah. And they're going to say a push there. So any college football fans familiar with the Bush push, you know, running backs cannot push the quarterback forwards, and they're going to say that Sailors did that. So give me a penalty there. Kastner really upset, doesn't understand the call.
I'm not too familiar with that call. I don't think I've ever seen that.
So one of the most famous plays in college football history, Reggie Bush, you know, in USC, we're facing off against Notre Dame, two of the best teams in college football that year. And at the goal line, last play of the game, Reggie Bush pushes forward their quarterback, Matt Leinart, for a touchdown. Probably would not have got the touchdown without the push. It was a very controversial play, led to some rule changes, and now, right there. So now you replay first down. It's Comets going to pick up a couple yards there. But yeah, sorry for the history lesson there, but definitely a play you don't see ever very often.
Well, even though it is a flag, you're still in very good range. Gets a few there, Nick Sailors. I still can't believe that that's a rule.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
You know, you have to be able to pick up the yardage under your own weight. You know, the defensive linemen if they're going to push you back. Oh, and now Larson Brown goes direct snap to Sailors. They tried to run this earlier, and he fumbled it. And Sailors pushes forward, isn't able to pick up the touchdown, but gets a few yards. And now a late flag. This one probably going to be on Fairfield as Ben Cravens, the offensive lineman, all of a sudden kind of got thrown down a few seconds after the whistle was blown.
There's no need for that. Most likely going to be an automatic first down with a late penalty like this.
Yeah, and it was going to be 3rd and 3. You had a chance to stop the Comets with those next 2 plays, and right here, personal foul on Fairfield. Comets half the distance to the goal, so now just a few,
Offsetting personal
but there's
foul.
actually offsetting penalties. So the Comets pushed back as well. Fairfield's kind of breathing a sigh of relief right there. That could have been another game changer. So the Comets 3rd down at the 2-3 yard line.
I missed that flag on Mason. See what it was?
Yeah, and they just threw 1 flag, but it was offsetting personal fouls. And Larson Brown and Fairfield jumps off sides. The Comets know it. And so not a new set of downs after that last play, but now Comets will move forward after this one.
3 plays, 3 penalties. We were talking about earlier in the first half how much of a clean game it was. And just a few minutes into the second half, or about 10 minutes into the second half, and you already have about double of the penalties that you had in the first.
But the good news for the Indians right there is that offsides isn't a new set of downs, and you're at the 3 yard line. It's only half a distance to the goal. They really only lost about a yard and a half there. Not too catastrophic. And now Brown takes snap, hands it off to Sailors, and he's stuffed again. Fairfield putting together a really nice goal line stand. They might even push Sailors backwards there. So Comets have a decision to make here at the goal line. Do you take the points and kick the field goal or go for the touchdown?
If I'm Mason, I think I go for it here, and they're going to bring on the kicking unit.
And
It
Daniel,
will make it a two possession game. But with the way your defense is playing, this unstoppable.
And I actually agree with this call, Daniel. You're up by 6, so it still is a 1 possession game. Your defense is playing really well, but we do know how dangerous Talon Fisher is. He can take any play for a touchdown. This right here, likely guarantee, it's going to extend your lead and protects you from any big plays. And so Colson Bunch extends the lead 16-7.
3 for 3 on field goals today.
Yeah, he's having a career day on senior night.
So it makes it a 2 possession game, up by 9. I guess I can understand that call. Just make it a 2 possession game any way you can. Rely on your defense, who have been very reliable so far, especially this half. Already forced the turnover inside the goal line or inside the red zone.
Yep. So Fairfield, that is a major win right there. Comets got the ball at their 1 yard line, and they nearly had a touchdown, but a push rule. Comets penalty pushes them back, and then Comets gonna have to settle for 3 points. When you get the ball at the 1 yard line and don't come away with a touchdown, I'm sorry, but that's a failure of a possession right there. Fairfield's got to see that as an absolute win. You're still in this game, only down by 9 points. That could very easily swing. We've seen how dangerous this offense can be, in previous games.
Last time Mason had so much momentum like this, Talon Fisher took the ball 60 yards into the end zone. So
yeah,
you can't celebrate too much. You're up by 2 possessions, but quarterback on the other side, game's not over.
And a squib kick. Comets might get it, and they do. Krukenberg is going to come up with it. He had the interception earlier, a fake punt for a first down, and right there, the Comets squib it. I don't know if that was intentional or not, or if it just happened to hit off of the Fairfield defender, but Sean Krukenberg makes the heads-up play and picks it up. Comets are going to retain possession, so Talon Fisher not going to have a chance to get the ball. And Bunch squibs it, and Krukenberg just goes up and wins it like a basketball rebound.
How many big plays like that has Mason had today? You have the fake punts, you have all the weird kickoffs, being able to win the possession game so much. Mason has dominated possession game.
Yeah, it just feels like everything's been going Mason's way, except for, you know, on these 3rd and 4th downs. You know, haven't been able to score as many touchdowns as they'd like, but
You have another chance here.
yeah, so offense stays on the field. Now Fairfield defense might get a little worn out. And Weston Simmons takes the sweep. Oh, and a bad throw. And so earlier on when Larson Brown was out, Quentin Kaler was playing quarterback, and that means that Weston Simmons then suddenly became the emergency quarterback. So he's been practicing, you know, his passing form quite a bit the past few weeks, and they put in that trick play. I believe that play was designed for Lakota West, didn't get to use it, and they tried out there, but unfortunately Weston Simmons doesn't get enough air on the ball.
We actually saw that last week against Mason. Sycamore to Gio Garrett for the touchdown.
Yeah, they had a touchdown on it, so.
That was one of their only scores of the game, and Mason doing exactly that, just couldn't execute it.
Yeah, Simmons was looking forward to that play, unfortunately can't capitalize. Brown facing some pressure, but good protection. And that ball thrown into tight coverage for Colin Billhorn, who's kind of been his Brown's favorite target tonight. But incomplete, so now 3rd and 10.
We've seen a lot of tight coverage throws from Brown today. Very aggressive, putting a lot of zip on the ball. That may be a little too much for Billhorn.
And again, the Comets, you know, you keep possession after an onside kick / swib kick, you know, kind of a crazy special teams play. You have to capitalize, and right here, they're on the verge of having to punt.
It's the thing, they've been able to get the ball so many different ways, but it's just about, can you get points out of it?
Yeah, especially getting those touchdowns. That's where they've struggled today. And play action.
Rush.
And wow, okay, now you definitely have to punt it. Big time play.
Brown is down.
Jordan Baker, and Brown took a big hit. Hit that shoulder.
It's the 2nd time today we've seen Brown stumbling a little bit after a play.
JoJo Baker broke through.
And Baker came zooming in from the 2nd level and just nails Larson Brown.
Punt position for the Comets.
So Comets forced to punt after that. Krukenberg, good punt there, gets some bounce, and going to be around the 20-yard line, exactly at the 20-yard line. So now Talon Fisher, you know, he had to wait a few plays, but does get to come back out on the field, down by 9, and get his team back in this game.
I had to bring up that Mason's punt coverage on that punt. 3 players just rushing in immediately. Almost nobody blocked. Even if Fairfield was able to get the ball there, he wouldn't have a fun time returning it.
Yeah, and the Comets, they really value special teams. And they like to play their starters on offense and defense on special teams. That's something that kind of sets them apart from a lot of teams. Is they view it as an equal to offense and defense, and they like to get their best 11 guys out there, and it pays off on plays like that. So Fisher just going to take it and run immediately. Able to get, 3-4 yards. So a decent first play there.
You're Fisher, you're going to be running with a little more aggression this half. Pretty disappointing first half. Offense couldn't go the way they wanted to, especially with going into this game 2nd ranked offense in the GMC, averaging 35 points a game. Most likely not going to reach that mark today, the way this Mason defense has just been unstoppable. But I feel like we might see a lot more runs from Fisher this half.
Absolutely, that was the area they had the most success earlier on, and now he's going to drop back and throw it. Looking downfield again, and it's intercepted by Krukenberg. A little bit of deja vu from the first half, and he's running down the field. He's got a lot of space. Oh, and he nearly gets the touchdown. Last week, he had a pick 6 get called back for blocking the back, and right there, Krukenberg was just yards away from a touchdown on senior night. But still, interception number 2. He might be injured, but a big-time play. Comets super excited on the sideline, hoping that Krukenberg's okay as we get a replay of this.
Once again, another overthrow from Fisher. Krukenberg right there in perfect position. Able to take it back. Looked like the same exact interception from last week. What a 2 games for Sean Krukenberg.
Yeah, Krukenberg is able to walk off, playing center field like he loves to do. Just perfectly picks the ball out of the air and then That block from Jake Bates nearly got the touchdown. So now Comets again getting the ball deep into the Fairfield territory. You've got to think this is not just points, but 6. You need a touchdown right here.
Haven't been able to capitalize. Like, how many times has your defense put you in this position today? Just couldn't ask for anything more.
And Nick Sailors scores the touchdown first play. So the Comets, a couple straight big plays from the defense, and they're able to convert. Nicholas Sailors, touchdown number 2
you can
on
make that
the game.
7 straight touchdowns scored by Nick Sailors. Same thing from last week. Both Sailors and Krukenberg, the 2 best players on each side of the football. Mason slowly starting to run away with this game.
Yeah, Nick Sailors, they played him a lot of defense this year. Earlier in the season, actually didn't run the ball a lot, and you've got to wonder, you think back to that first week against Gahanna Lincoln, you know, could the outcome would have been different if they had just trusted Nick Sailors on offense? But he's been spectacular these last few weeks.
Colson Bunch nails the field goal, perfect on the day today. And you really just can't emphasize so much. You can only emphasize so much how good Nick Sailors has been for this offense. No matter how much you say, it's still probably an understatement.
Yeah, he has been, you know, the source of their big plays so far. He's the source of a lot of energy. You know, Larson Brown, obviously the leader of this offense, the quarterback, but he's more of a chill, calm, and cool personality, the guy that you want, you know, in those stressful situations. But Nick Sailors, he is that energetic, you know, electric personality that can kind of get the guys riled up. The defense has that in Jake Bates, and now the offense kind of getting that spark from Nick Sailors.
Although we haven't heard much of Jake Bates, we've heard a few big plays. He's been everywhere.
Yeah.
He had that
interception.
He had that interception, of course, and then on that return from Krukenberg, a great block, able to get a few extra yards.
So that kickoff initially muffed, but Fairfield picks it up and returns just past the 25-yard line. So Comet defense back out onto the field, and they're feeling good about themselves, especially Sean Krukenberg, who had a bit of an injury scare on the interception return, but he's back out there. So that's good news for the Comets.
So a 3-possession, or actually no, it would be a 2-possession game with two-point conversions.
Two-point conversions. So Fairfield still very much in this game. A lot of time left, 3 minutes in the third quarter. Still the entire fourth quarter to go.
And that's still a quarter for Fisher to lock in.
Yeah, and Talon Fisher, with his big playability, he can evaporate a lead like that. Now Jordan Jackson, they haven't been able to get him going so far tonight, but that's his best run so far, 8 yards on first down. And they've mostly just been using him to establish the run on first down and then doing a read option or a play action next play. You got to wonder if they mess with that rhythm a little bit, maybe try to get find some creative ways to get him the ball, considering his speed and athleticism. You know, he's playing football in the Big 12 start next year, and they need to get him going.
I think you got to run the ball a little more this drive. Passing game hasn't been working at all today. So
and you've still got time. You don't need to be rushing it. And Talon Fisher throws it, and that could have been a pick 6. You know, he's not on the same page as a receiver, and he actually overthrows that ball a little bit. If that ball had been underthrown, Zach Rogers was underneath that route, that would have been a touchdown going the other way. So Talon Fisher, his poor decision actually kind of saves him right there.
Just another missed throw. You know, he said he's known for his rushing, but going into today, he is not a bad passer. Just today, hasn't been his day
Comet
so
defense
far.
has been rattling him, and now they run it again with Jackson. He nearly gets tackled in the backfield, but stays up and gets going. And that's the kind of plays they're missing. If you can get Jackson going, you can pick up those hard yardage for you. Stumbles there. We'll see if looks like he's all right as he gets right back up. But now Fairfield picks up the first down, and Comets have had a lot of 3-and-outs. Their defense hasn't been out on the field a lot, so.
And you hope those push runs from Jackson there can set up a read option. I mean, you're Mason, you know it's coming with Fisher.
Yep, and a read option there. Hands it off to Jackson. He's able to get just about a yard. The Comets just read that one perfectly. Had guys flying in from all directions.
I can only see a read option happening these next few plays. The run game, especially to the side, it's been working so good this drive.
Kai Woolfolk in on the stop for the Comets.
Yeah.
Along with Aaron
And
Spears.
now Talon Fisher, 2nd and 8. He definitely wants to make this more manageable. They've struggled on the long 3rd downs, and he fumbles that snap, picks it up, recovers the play, and now he's running with it. Makes a man miss. He's got a 1st down and more, and he's going to run out of bounds.
There's that playmaking ability.
Talon Fisher picked up his
Not the
own
first
fumble
bad
and
snap
ran
that
it
we've
for
seen
a
from Fairfield
first
today,
down.
but what a great job from Fisher there to be able to get it back, not panic, make a man miss, get the 1st down and a little bit more. Able to keep the drive alive for Fairfield.
Yeah, Talon Fisher, this Fairfield team is going to go as far as he can take them, and it's plays like that that are going to keep them in this game. And now he leads that huddle out. Him and Jackson in the backfield for a new set of downs. Man in motion. And facing a lot of pressure, Talon Fisher brought down immediately. Who wasn't there? Bryce Falk, Caden Davis, Malachi Reed all in on the sack. Jake Bates came in to clean up.
Broke through to make the sack.
Mason Foley saw it coming. You know it's going to be a run from Fisher there. Great job to get pressure. Absolutely nowhere to go.
2nd and 17 now. That was a big loss.
Mason, you're trying to get some of this momentum back. This is the first time this half that we've seen Fairfield really establish a drive so far.
Now, Fisher gonna throw it. He's on the run. That's where he succeeds. And he kind of makes a sidearm throw. That's an unbelievable pass. He finds his target, and now Fairfield is in the red zone. On the move, off-platform throw, and somehow able to find Braden Shankin.
Braden Shankin, we haven't heard his name much, but leading receiver for this Fairfield team. You see it right there. What a great catch, great throw, able to get out of the pocket, extend the play. Seen that so many times from Fisher.
Yeah, and we talk so much about Fisher as a runner, and deservedly so, leading the conference in rushing yards and touchdowns. But there's a reason he's being he's a 3-star quarterback prospect.
The run game's still working for this Fairfield team. Jackson being able to push
down to the 10-yard line.
Through first contact, able to get almost feels like 4 or 5 yards after the first hit.
Yeah.
12-yard line.
With a different running back, that probably would have been, stuff for no yardage, potentially a loss. But right there, when you've got a Division I player like Jackson, he's able to make something out of nothing. And now clock running down in this 3rd quarter. We'll see if Fairfield can get the snap off in time, and they do. Talon Fisher is going to keep it himself, and he's brought down by Bryce Falk. So that's going to take us to the 4th quarter. Comets scored 10 points in that, extending their lead to 16 points. So we'll be back with you after a short break for all the last quarter action.
Fairfield Indians 7. Atrium.
Score. Win. Comets win. Yeah.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
And we are back here, 4th quarter. Fairfield putting together their best drive of the 2nd half. Now deep into Comet territory in the red zone. And false start there from Fairfield. going to kick off the quarter.
A lot of frustration from Jackson.
In case you're just joining us, a bit of a third quarter recap. This, started. Comets were up 13-7, and they didn't score on the first drive, but then a couple turnovers set up some points. Colson Bunch hit a field goal, and then another interception from Sean Krukenberg set
Jake
up
Bates.
And then an interception from Jake Bates set up a Nick Sailors touchdown. I'm Andrew Little here with Daniel Panetti. And now they're backed up after that penalty. Third down, Talon Fisher looking for his receiver, and he does find Glover.
Nice play by
very
Glover
close
there.
to the first down marker.
A little bit thrown to the right, not led completely, but a nice job to turn back, get yards there.
Yeah, so now 4th and 2. Fairfield offense most definitely going to stay out there. They were discussing it with the sidelines, but you're down 16 points in the 4th quarter. You definitely need to get a touchdown here. A field goal would not be enough.
Field goal would make it a 2-possession game, but as you said, you need 6 here. You're running out of time slowly.
Now Fisher facing a lot of pressure, somehow delivers an accurate ball, but Zach Rogers makes a pass breakup. Now what Zach Rogers might lack in height, he makes up for with aggression right there.
Looked like he had it in the end zone. Great last-second play from Rogers to get the ball out. Huge turnover, another turnover for Mason.
So Zach Rogers, we're going to watch him here. Manned up in coverage. Has a size disadvantage, but stays with the entire time. Just knocks that ball away at the last second. That's a great play. Comet offense back on the field. And that's demoralizing for Fairfield right there. They thought they had the touchdown. An accurate pass to Glover. The Comet defense again makes a play.
It's not even a bad call to go for it there. Just couldn't get it.
Had to go for it there.
Yeah.
Down 16, a 2-score game, and that's with 2-point conversions being successful. Now Brown hands it off to Sailors, and he's stuffed. Won't even get back to the line of scrimmage.
So the first time that we've seen Sailors not being able to get back. Fairfield defense needs to get a stop here, especially with Mason so close to their end zone. Not a lot of room to really work with.
Credit the tackle to
So the Comet offense here definitely going to be trying to work the clock. Already 10 minutes left in this game, so they've in their one play they've already dropped off about 40 seconds of play clock. They're going to continue to do that. Expect them to run the ball. And Larson Brown hands it off to Sailors again, and Sailors has some space. He makes a jump cut. He's got some room down the field, and he's going to be tackled just past the 45-yard line. Some frustration from the Fairfield defenders. Another big play from Nick Sailors.
You need a guy to get you yards. Look no further than Nick Sailors.
Takes this run, follows the block from Quentin Kaler, jumps past one guy, and uses his speed to get to midfield. Eventually, he's brought down by the corners, Josiah Jackson and Xavier Isaacs. Those are the only guys on the defense that have the speed to catch up with Nick Sailors. Now Larson Brown going to take the snap with Tay Hibbett in the backfield. Brown takes it, hands it off, and Hibbett met immediately at the line.
And if Mason is able to get a win out of this, this is such a big game, especially with the playoffs right around the corner. You have Princeton next week.
Yeah, and they started off the season really well in the 6-0 in the GMC. Obviously, they did have the loss week 1 to Gahanna, but undefeated in your conference. Kind of had some of the air deflated out of the season with the Lakota West loss. But right here, a win against Fairfield, who a lot of people thought were the favorites coming into this game, would be huge heading into the postseason. And neutral zone infraction there from Fairfield. So the Comets now, instead of having a 2nd and 8, will have a 2nd and 3. Kind of talking about this GMC landscape right now. The Comets technically ahead of Fairfield just because one of their 2 losses was out of conference. Fairfield, both of their losses came in conference, but Mason, you know, they play Princeton next week. A lot of people are assuming that is going to be a loss because Princeton is one of the top teams in the city right now. So Fairfield, and then we're kind of going to be, this is the game that's going to determine who's 3rd place in the GMC most likely. And with that, probably going to determine who gets a home game in the playoffs. There's a chance we see these 2 teams have a rematch. Larson Brown under center. Billhorn in motion, and he's going to sweep it to Sailors, who's going to pick up the first down.
Nick Sailors picked up the
Able
first
to
down
chew
for the
a bunch of
Comets.
clock this drive.
He was stopped by
Really
Ray
no
Cody.
passing at all. It's really the whole entire goal. You don't need to score, but just get the clock down as much as you can. Limit the amount of time Fairfield could have when they get the ball back.
Yeah, just about 8 minutes left in this 4th quarter, so Comets doing a good job trimming time off the clock. And the score here would definitely ice the game away. And Sailors again takes the handoff. He's got some room, breaks through a tackle, and pushes his way forward to about the 35-yard line, so going to be 2nd and short now. Gosh, what a statement it's been so far from Mason. Fairfield heading into this game, averaging 35 points a game. They've been one of the best offenses, not just in the GMC, but in the city. And today the County defense showing that they are truly one of the best defenses around. You know, like we thought, Lakota West game, you know, hurt their average. They're averaging 11 points per game right now, but that 37 points allowed to Lakota West was an anomaly. And some of those points were not the fault of the defense. You know, pick 6 and special teams touchdown. So now Larson Brown hands it off again to Sailors, falls forward for a few yards. So
you say how good this Fairfield offense was going into this game, and Mason top 3 defense, and we knew this defense was very good, but still very, very almost surprising.
This is the best game they've played. They've looked like a great defense all season. Right now, they look like an elite defense. This is a defense that I think if they played like this against Lakota West, very different ball game. You could argue they kind of did in the first half. Second half, things definitely got out of hand. But right now, they're playing a complete football game. And the offense is definitely helping out, playing a much cleaner game. And Larson Brown going to call the timeout on 3rd down here. Didn't like the look that he had with the play call, so
as a reminder,
you've got time. Let the clock run down and then timeout.
It's been a great job by Mason getting the clock down. They started this drive with about 11 minutes on the clock, and now you're just about to go under 6 minutes. So getting almost half of the game clock down. You know, you're up by about 16. You're up by 16. You know, it's definitely not over, but it's hard for a team, especially like Fairfield, who's been struggling today. Scoring 16 points in 6 minutes is pretty difficult, and Mason's been driving down. They're probably going to end up extending this lead.
Yeah, and right here, this is Fairfield's last chance. Not only they need to stop Mason here, but they probably need a turnover if they want any chance of winning this game. If you're down 16 points, that means you need 2 touchdowns, and you need to successfully convert 2 two-point conversions. So unlikely scenario, and it's not going to happen if you don't stop the Comets on this play. And 2 receivers to the right. And then Larson Brown under center. 2 tight ends tucked with him. They hand it off to Sailors, and he is met in the backfield. He's going to lose yardage. So we'll see here if the Comets elect to punt it around the 40-yard line. You know, definitely an interesting decision here. If you go for it and convert, puts the game away. If you fail, you're giving Fairfield pretty good field position. And yeah, the punt unit is going to come out, and that's the right call. You're going to pin Fairfield back and make them go, 80 to 90 yards to score a touchdown, and then they'll have to get the ball back again.
This is really just perfect position for Krukenberg. We haven't seen him have a touchback yet
And he's going to get one there. And Comet's field team tries to make a play and keep that, inside the 5-yard line. You got to applaud the effort there, but
I'm a serious jinx.
Yeah.
This entire game.
Touchbacks on the kickoff team, awesome. Punts, you're not always as big of a fan there. They definitely did want to pinch Fairfield back, but 20-yard line, they still have to go 80 yards. So it's a good spot for the Mason defense. Only 5.5 minutes left in the game. Talon Fisher's going to need to make some magic happen. Fisher and Jackson in the backfield, 3 receivers out right, and Fisher gonna throw it. He's got some pressure, scrambles out and picks up a few yards on the QB scramble.
Good coverage by Mason, able to get pressure. It's really just been the whole story for this Fairfield offense. Really nothing in the passing game going for Fairfield.
So Fisher again drops back, throwing it deep. This time, it's an accurate pass, but Krukenberg is there to help with the pass breakup, and
seems like
Braden Shanklin can't come down with it.
I think every deep ball that Fisher has thrown this game, Krukenberg has been right there, either getting a pass breakup or an interception. We see it once again.
Yeah, good coverage there. So now sets up a 3rd medium, definitely 4-down situation for Fairfield, down 16 points with 5 minutes left. Talon Fisher again drops back to pass, facing pressure. Caden Davis misses, and he's gonna just throw it away. So Fisher keeps it alive without losing any yardage. He was looking for Isaiah Glover there.
He was being pursued by.
One thing we have seen that's very good from Fisher is being able to evade pressure in the pocket. He's known for being able to extend plays, but not a lot of big sacks for Mason today.
Yeah, and the Comets, their pass rush is one of their strengths. They love to get after the quarterback, and they've done that today, but they haven't converted with the sacks as often as they have in previous games, even against Dakota West, because of the way that Talon Fisher plays football. And there, senses the pressure on the ground on 4th down, trying to make something happen, and the Comet defense swarms to him. And that right there going to be the game. Most likely Talon Fisher,
and Fisher is
holding onto his back.
Talon Fisher.
Never want to see that late in the game. Star player, especially somebody like Fisher that's played such a tough game today.
And then other Comets.
He is down.
Not only is your offense not going, now your best player on offense just went down.
Time out on the field.
Yeah, and hopefully this is nothing serious for Fisher. Take a look here. Extends the play, and then he's brought down by five different Comets. Just had a lot of weight fall onto him, and sometimes that's what it takes. Knees down on the field all around. So we'll take a quick break here. Actually, Talon Fisher getting off the field under his own power, so looked like that was going to be an extended absence there, on the medical issue, but able to walk off on his own power, very encouraging. And now the Fairfield defense has to get out there and try to make another stop.
Hope it's not something serious.
Yeah, what a game it's been from Talon Fisher. Probably not the game that he hoped for, but he really has done a lot of things to keep his team in the game. The 55-yard rushing touchdown is going to be the highlight of everybody's mind.
He's played better than the stats are showing.
Yeah, and the best play that I saw him make isn't one that ended up counting because the receiver went out of bounds, but he made a play on the run, found his receiver on a 4th down play. So he's made plays tonight. He's showing why he's one of the top quarterbacks in the area. Now Nick Sailors takes the run, and he's gone.
You say 8
touchdowns.
touchdowns.
Like you said, can you say 8? Nick Sailors, 3 touchdowns today, 5 last week. He has been the engine of the Comet offense. Return of the King, playing a lot of offensive snaps these last 2 weeks.
Everything we've seen everything we saw last week against Sycamore, we've been seeing tonight with its Sean Krukenberg getting interceptions, getting turnovers for Mason, and then Nick Saylor's just running all over whatever defense he plays.
So Nick Saylor's he's trying to catch up with Talon Fisher on the rushing touchdown leaderboard in the GMC. Fisher headed into tonight with 12. Saylor's headed in with 8. So right now, Saylor's is trailing 13-11. So only down by 2. There's a chance he gets another one, and then you've got another week to catch up. So that's a battle to watch.
Going into today, the 2 scoring leaders in the GMC was Talon Fisher and Nick Saylor. So with only 1 touchdown so far for Fisher, Saylor's really
closing the gap there.
That's maybe next week if he has a big game against Princeton.
They're going to need him to, certainly. Princeton, another really high-powered offense, one of the best teams in the GMC. Fairfield did lose to Princeton 28-14 4 weeks ago. With the way that the Comets are playing in Fairfield right now, that's a game that at first glance might have seemed like, a long shot to win, but it looks very winnable if they can play at the same level.
It was just the most dominant I think Mason has looked the entire season.
Absolutely.
You go into today underdogs, honestly, and see a lot of players last senior night playing a team like this, going in as home underdogs, and being able to have a performance like this.
Yeah, home underdogs. That's a thing a lot of people talk about in the NFL or in college. You don't hear that a lot in high school football. Certainly played out tonight in the Comets. This specific Comet team, this senior class, they love that underdog role. They're embracing it. And these past few weeks, they've played really well. Today, a decisive victory over Fairfield. This is a potential season-changing. This late in the season, postseason just 2 weeks away. Last year, the Comets, they beat Princeton late in the season to kind of save some of their playoff standings. So they've proved that it can be done. The Comets right now.
And what better of a time to be playing your best football than right before the playoffs?
They're clicking on all cylinders. This is the best the offense has looked. The defense has been stellar.
Is Talon Fisher not in the game anymore?
No, and had the injury, it's not worth the risk. And it's Kearon Love. He's one of their star defensive players, also the backup quarterback, and he went downfield there for his first pass. Not accurate, but you got to love the aggression from Fairfield. Still showing some heart, even though this game is pretty much over.
Hey, you say Love, one of the best athletes on this team. 4th with 2 interceptions on defense, where he's known for being in the secondary, but also as a backup quarterback. And Mason's almost the same way with their backup quarterback as well.
Yeah, Quentin Kaler, another great athlete. They've seen him. And Jordan Jackson. I about said I want to see some Jordan Jackson on this drive. And right there, they deliver a 2nd down run to him. We've almost exclusively seen him run the ball on 1st downs. There, they get him involved later in the possession, and it plays out 1st down. And there shows off his speed. Amazing jump cut. That's the athleticism that he's going to, utilize when he's a West Virginia Mountaineer. Both him and his brother are going to play there. That's got to be exciting. I'm a twin myself, so if we were both Division I football players, I think it'd be pretty cool to play at the same school, and the Jackson brothers have just that chance. And Fairfield picks up a pretty good play there. They're going to run past the 50-yard line, so not done yet.
Nicholas Harris made the stop for Mason.
And the Comets have some of their reserves playing in right now. The offensive lineman, Ben Cravens, his brother, Nicholas Cravens, is a sophomore. And on the D-line, Tyler Dalton, one of the backup linebackers, is playing. Number 91, Alex Orick, the sophomore, playing at DT. Some good experience for the young guys.
And a lot of strong running from Jackson this half. There's a flag down. Yeah, almost every carry he's been getting this half, he's been able to push forward. Getting almost 8 yards every carry this half, it seems like. Coach Kastner not too happy on the sideline.
Tammy Adesanya made the stop for Mason.
Yeah, so a new set of downs for Fairfield. quick pass there from Love. A couple plays made in the open field there. So
Tyler Dalton.
It's going to be second and short.
And Nathaniel Werner.
You know, your Fairfield
Made the stop
game's
for the
already out
Comets.
of reach, but if you're able to end this game on just something positive, getting a touchdown late, just something to go into just something to build off of going into next week.
Absolutely, especially with the health of Talon Fisher. Uncertain there, they fumble a snap. You never want to see that this late in the game. It's kind of been a sloppy game for Fairfield a little bit. So they're going to move back a little bit after that play, 3rd and long. Comet defense, they don't want to give up any points right now. Averaging only 11 points a game given up, and some of those touchdowns have actually been given up, by the offense.
Looks like
Comet's defense has been even better.
Looks like they're going to pick up that flag.
Yeah. And pressure coming off the outside, and Love is brought down for the sack. That's Malachi Reed and Liam McMains. So both juniors, even though they're starters, they stayed out on the field with the reserves, and they come away with the sack there. So now Fairfield gonna punt. Comet's gonna have one more offensive possession. And it's senior night. You definitely expect to see some of the seniors. Maybe they don't get as much playing time, and also would love to see some underclassmen out there. Also, Larson Brown's last chance to play and throw the ball. And now it's a fake punt. So it's a gutsy call there from Fairfield. Love still out moving down. And
you're not going to get it.
Something I didn't think to say. Talon Fisher, also their punter. Your starting punter is out of there. Maybe they weren't confident in Love's punting ability, or they just wanted to try something new. But there, interesting play. And almost worked out, so showing some confidence in your players late in the game. Now 1:45 left.
Made the Comet tackle.
And it's been a great broadcast here. Very thankful with ICRC and our executive producer, Jason Dudley. Always thankful for him. Michael Asher, great producer. And then the announcers, myself, Andrew Little, and then Daniel Panetti. Our camera operators, Zach Stewart, Alyssa Feinblatt, and Aaron Dornhecker. Thanks for all they do, and Eric Johan. So, Blake Carrico running the replay. Trey Capo running the graphics. Thank you for watching ICRC. It really does take a village to run these broadcasts. So, it's not just those of us that you can hear.
Larson Brown took a knee for the Comets.
And Comets take a knee right there.
Again,
they're going to close out this game. What a performance it's been. 30-7. Dominant victory over the Fairfield Indians.
Following the game. No spectators will be allowed on the field. We thank you in
Senior
advance.
night, the Comets, this could be the last home game of these seniors' career, depending on how the playoff standings work out. Although this win right here is going to be really helpful for the Comets. Much more likely to have a top 8 seed now. 16 teams make the playoff in the Southwest region for Ohio.
Especially
definitely going to be one of them.
Next week versus Princeton. The way Mason played today, they could definitely give Princeton a fight. They're still going to go in as underdogs. Princeton, one of the best teams we're seeing so far. But if you're able to put up points like Mason has this second half, you're able to stop an offense like they have. Fairfield, as we mentioned, the number 2 offense. You had one of the best just overall players in the GMC with Talon Fisher, and you're able to limit him. You're able to do that next week against Princeton, basically secure yourself a home game.
Yeah, and what a confidence booster this was. Coming in as underdogs, winning, not just winning the game, but winning in dominant fashion. Next week playing against Princeton, who has athletes all over the field, but highlighted by TJ Engelman, the Georgia Tech commit. He's a dominant offensive player. So that's going to close out the game. Mason Comets, 30-7 is the final here over the Fairfield Indians. From wire to wire, they were the better team. Defense was spectacular. A lot of energy here for senior night. It was a pink out in the student section, and the Comet fans are going to go home happy. Comets build a lot of momentum next week. Going against Princeton. Fairfield next week will be playing at home their senior night against Lakota East, a very winnable game, so they can get some momentum heading into the playoffs. And thanks again for watching tonight. I've been Andrew Little, here with Daniel Panetti. The Comets had a great time calling the game. Comets coming with a big victory against the Fairfield Indians. Thanks to ICRC-TV for hosting us. Have a great night.
Again, the final here this evening, Comets 30, Indians 7. Thank you for your attendance here this evening, everyone, and please drive home safely.